Welcome to Gear Shift, an automotive podcast about life with your hosts, Christoph and Casper. It's also a 911. Anyway.
Is it really?
No.
Definitely not. It sounds like a V8 turbo.
It's a 928. No.
Yeah.
No. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Welcome back to Gear Shift, everybody. It is Season 2, Episode 1.
Yes.
We're back to weekly.
Hi.
Yeah. We're back.
No fanfare. Internal fanfare.
Internal fanfare?
External fanfare? We're happy.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay. That's a Monty Python reference. Anyway, we're back. We have a special guest here in the studio with us.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And to be on starting out season 2.
That's right. There's no higher accolade than being on a season premiere.
That's what I was thinking. So I said, I'm just going to come on to the podcast. So that's how I did that. Yeah.
Right on.
Really worked. You're like right into it.
No, but thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. I know you were going to come here anyway for stuff, but
right, yeah.
It just worked out really well anyway. And he wore a shirt especially for you.
I did. So it says Save the Whales.
Because
when I was listening to the last episode, you were making some remarks about 911s and like, oh God, it's like, how could it be 911? So I would have brought my 911, but I didn't today, but I wore this for you because I knew that.
But you parked it in a field of beetles and couldn't find it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You're just jealous.
No, I am very jealous. No, I've seen the car several times.
Thank you.
It's a very nice car.
Oh, thanks.
Nice car.
So anyway, we haven't introduced. You're David Snyder.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll get into you. About you soon. But first, we have a sponsor. We'll get that out of the way.
Who is this guy?
It's the same generous, handsome young man.
It's the same generous man
that keeps this shit show going, and it's of course the Bearded Detailer. Man, you know what? It's a one-stop shop for anything automotive. Period.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you can go on his website. What's the website? You ask?
TheBeardedDetailer.com.
TheBeardedDetailer.com. Oh, geez, you're so good. And what can you look on there? Well, there's a blog. It's super interesting. Like, it's really interesting. There's blog posts. There is coding information. And there's a swag store, which that's what everybody wants. Want to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And what you ask, what can you buy on there? Dave, what can you buy on? What have you bought on there?
Replenishment is how I define it. Replenishment.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can.
If you're ever looking for replenishment.
Yeah.
I like that word. Can you buy Zima on there?
Yeah.
Oh, I have 2 cases.
Yeah, not in the state of Pennsylvania.
No.
Yeah, it's true. You can come pick it up.
Yeah.
I will not ship it. But you can buy cleaning supplies. And you can buy Laminex film. So if you want to protect your headlights, taillights, change your colors, you can buy that.
Yeah.
You want to change your oil. There's oil and oil filters, maintenance supplies. If you see something that's not listed on there that you want, you just let me know or let him know. And it'll get taken care of. So one-stop shop. And just for you guys, don't tell anybody this, but just for you Gear Shift fans, if you use the promo code Gear Shift, you get 10% off your order.
Oh, 10.
I almost misspoke. Yeah. Well, I'm used to my other podcast where the one promo code is more than 10. So
order twice and it's 10% and 10%. So it's like you're getting 20%.
Practically the same thing.
It's not.
That's look, I'm not good at math.
But does that really matter? I mean, yeah.
I have this many fingers.
And if you do it twice, then you have 20. So, yeah. I mean, it's that simple.
So it's that simple. Yeah. So then we got that out of the way. Also, another avenue that keeps this going is our Patreon page. So we have some donations that come in from our Patreon page, which we need to do more. And I actually need to have you record nursery rhyme in Polish. Remember, that was one of the things.
Oh, God.
We had somebody donate to that level, so we owe them Polish nursery rhyme.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic.
American nursery rhyme in Polish.
Oh, that's even better.
Do you have
fantastic.
some good Polish nursery rhymes?
Yeah. We have one that's very racist, though.
In America, we do too.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. If I translate it for you, you're gonna be crying laughing. So we're gonna do that later.
We'll do that very later.
It's called Murzynek Bambo. And it's
I already got part of it.
So Murzynek Bambo, which means like little black boy named Bambo. So it's Bambo. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right. Well, you will
bad.
not get that as a bonus
Yeah,
feature.
no,
but
it's
yeah, we need to do
I didn't
that.
realize it when I was a kid, and then like a couple of years ago, I like reread it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrid.
Well, that's a lot of things you watch when you go back. You watch as a kid and you go back as an adult.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I watched this as a kid. Like old Warner Brothers, like
The Looney Tunes had some serious
like World War
shit in
II
them, man.
propaganda stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I get what it was for, but
how they made them look. It was
wow, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nazis weren't that. No, they were that bad.
Yeah.
Never mind. They still are. Anyway, so we got that.
yeah.
I think that's everything. So let's get into our special guest.
Oh, hello.
So you already said you're David Snyder. Tell us a little. We've done this with all of our guests. Let us know who you are, what you do, and what got you into cars.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you can call me Dave.
Dave.
Yeah. Just
Ooh.
Dave.
David.
I feel honored.
Can I call you David?
David.
That's the kid behind where we live. Yeah. His name's
David.
David. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. His name's David.
Buenos dias, David.
Yeah. See. Yeah. So, been into cars, I can say my whole life, really. I grew up small country road, but got the pleasure to see street rods, classics, hot rods rolling through my backyard literally every day because my dad had a home shop where he did and still does to this very day auto upholstery, everything from simple headliners to Concours type cars,
Oh, nice.
building amazing interiors from scratch. So as a kid, I got to see really cool cars. So I was stuck.
Yeah.
I was stuck. So as I was growing up and getting older and seeing what type of cars that I would get into, I can remember there was two posters that I had on my wall growing up. One was a 911 and one was a Lamborghini Countach.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to say it's either, one of them is going to be a Lamborghini or Ferrari. Those are the two. Yeah.
Yeah. So growing up in the 80s, those were the two cars. And then so I couldn't afford a 911 for my first car. So it was a Beetle. It was a Beetle. So I could afford a Beetle.
Yas.
So for $500 was my first car when I was
That's
15. It had no floors, nothing. So it was
pretty par for the course.
It was. So it was the best experience I had with my father. We restored the car, everything, paint, floors, engine, interior, everything.
What year was it?
It was a 1973.
Okay.
So it was a 1973. So this was back in the 90s. So 90s styling, right?
Yeah.
It was a little off. It was a little off. So, again, and I was on a budget, so it had Krager wheels. It had flared fiberglass fenders.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Little lips on it. Yeah.
That's
Extra
so
wide
funny.
fenders. I have a thing for wide cars.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get into that. And then, so redid everything on it. Took 2 years. So,
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't until I was 17, still driving a caravan, my dad's caravan.
Nice.
So we finally got it done.
You got your start in a caravan, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. Grand Caravan SE for your information.
Was it a Grand Caravan or a Caravan?
It was just a caravan.
Oh.
It wasn't. Listen,
Slumming
we're on
it.
a budget. We're on a budget. There's no grand.
There's nothing grand about the Grand
No,
Caravan. anyway.
nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. So no, we finished it, and I got to drive it in high school, and it was the coolest thing. But I learned stick on that car too. So no windows, no fenders, no seats, just a milk crate. And I would drive it around in fields, teaching myself how to drive stick.
That's awesome.
And my dad was very encouraging about that. He's like, just learn it. Like, go on a
Yeah.
hill, stop, learn all that good stuff. Until one day I came home and he's like, all right, you need to stop because you have a track in the backyard now, going loops and stuff like that. So
They're
that's
pretty easy to drive
Super
for clutch.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy.
yeah, pretty well. limited horsepower, so you don't.
What mode was that? The one
that was a
1600
dual
Yep.
port. So that was like, woo.
I had that in my 68. Somebody had swapped it in. So what was that? 65?
Whoa.
Well, it was probably closer to 70.
Yeah, it was a bump over the single port.
It was probably closer to 70. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool car, and so up until that point, I knew at that point I had the bug. I had the bug for cars,
yeah.
and mostly styling. Like I like performance, but so my background is in design and marketing. So I'm a design geek,
right.
and I love anything in design, interior design, industrial design, automotive design, and that's what I wanted to be. I was like, I'm going to be a car designer, so I love drawing cars. Well, that didn't happen, but so I'm in the marketing field professionally, so to this very day, I've owned pretty much all German cars. I had a few,
But let's not forget Pearl Harbor here. You do have you do have what's in your family? You have a Subaru.
Oh, we do. Yeah. So
let's not forget Pearl Harbor.
I have a Subaru. I love it. It's a good family car.
What you have the?
I have a 2015 Outback.
Outback. That's right.
Yeah. So, and now they just announced. Well, they announced earlier this year, but it's getting closer to I think it's called the Accent, which is their new 7-seater.
Oh, really?
It looks ginormous, and it's styling wise, it's probably the best thing they've come out with in a long time.
They don't have a 7-seater right now, do they?
They had the B9 Tribeca.
Oh, that's right.
Discontinued.
Hideous.
Bad design.
Yeah, real bad.
So
actually, my Crystal and I know someone who, I don't know if she still has it or if that's what she totaled, but she had one. I don't know if she still currently does. Yeah,
those were
bad.
Not a good design. So we got the Subaru because that's the kid hauler, and I got it because it had amazing ground clearance and I could drive like a bat out of hell in Pennsylvania.
It's purpose. It's purpose. You bought it for what it is. It's a raised all-wheel drive. It's a plug-and-play car.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to. It's change the oil, put gas in it, rotate tires. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. But so my heritage is Pennsylvania Dutch, and so through this, if you call out any Dutchy words or.
Well, I've been hanging around Polacks for so long that I don't know if I could pick them out anymore.
I usually get called out. They're like, "What was that word that you?"
We might pick something out here and there.
So
we may notice something.
So yeah.
So I was raised in Pennsylvania, and my background is Slovenian German. So I guess that's not considered Pennsylvania Dutch.
No,
that's a whole different ball game. Yeah.
But yeah, Dutch and German is my family, and I just stayed. I was like, well, might as well just stay with the German cars.
Might as well. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
I have a check engine light. I need you to look at.
Yep, I know. So you currently, I know we've actually talked about your car before on the show. Yeah. So you have your 911, which is an 86.
Yeah, 86 G Series. Last year, before they switched over to hydraulics, I've owned that for 5 years. So I guess
it's been that long.
Yeah. So you can say if you look at the charts of values, I bought it at the right time.
Yeah.
But I stuck some money into it as well to get it to where it is, and it's you can drive that car.
Yeah, and having been in one, actually I think I'd been in yours prior to. No, I drove yours prior to the refresh of the engine, and then the after. I'm like, well, it feels. I mean, it's noticeable.
Yeah. I mean,
you're bringing it back to factory spec, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything went back to factory spec. Everything was OEM replacement, all German parts, nothing. Because, I mean, if you're in it and you're
you got to do it. Yeah.
You got to do it right.
As long as it's still available, which for that generation, still pretty available.
Everything down to, the speedometer tack broke, So, like, you can order that from Porsche for... Everything's $1,000.
Yeah, everything.
So like, how much? You don't have to look. It's just $1,000. That's usually what my wife says. She's like, "How much is that bolt?" That's $1,000.
And this one's $999.
But you can pretty much get just about any part, which is good. Like Beatles.
Yeah.
Like Beatles. Telling you.
Hey, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. If it works, and I that's a big tribute to 911. Period. To Porsche. Period. They found what works. and they deviated just a little bit for improvements here and there. Figured out what didn't work, got rid of that, and went back right to what works.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the car on one of the posters was, it's the infamous wide body 930 jumping when all four wheels are off the ground.
Oh, really?
That was the poster I had. So I said one day, that's the car I won. Of course, black on black.
I was going to say, was it black?
Black on black,
Of course
yeah.
it was black. Actually, it's funny because so Mike got his 911, and I was emailing back and forth with the film guy for the clear bra and whatnot, and the guy goes, "Do I even have to ask what color 911 that is? It's black, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yes, of course it's black."
Yeah, no other color. So
well, Jeremy's, that his is the exclusion. His
right,
probably was black.
Right. Yeah, it probably was. Yeah. So yeah. So been doing a lot to that car. I mean, I guess it's never done. It's pretty close to done.
I was gonna say, you finally must have tapered off at this point.
Well,
Pretty
no,
close.
No, suspension and brakes are next.
Okay.
I mean, I'm already this far into it, so why not?
But that's a fairly simple.
That's
not invasive. That's
no,
just
they even have like streetable stop techs that swap for
nice.
air holes that you can just for street and super easy. And then I'm not gonna go crazy with suspension because obviously I put some new wheels on it.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, they're all right. So a quick story about Germans and labor and when they want to work.
Right.
It took 8 months for my BBS Motorsport E87s. So if you can picture it, let's just talk about the rear. They're 17 by 11 with a 5.5 inch barrel. So they're as wide as you can go.
Yeah. What size tire?
I don't know.
You don't.
I don't remember. It's
wide.
too early for that. It's really wide.
Yeah.
As wide as I could go.
That's at least a 265.
265. That sounds exactly right.
It's got to be at least that.
Yeah. I don't even look at that because I
Yeah.
was so excited to get them after 8 months. They sat on a polishing bench in Germany at BBS Motorsport for 2 months because he decided to take a vacation. I said, so there's only one person at BBS that knows how to polish wheels? Like, yep.
Wow.
Jeez. Talk about, that's your whole production line comes to a halt because one guy just wants to go on vacation. I mean, good and bad. That's good because you're going to get consistency with one guy doing the same job.
That's at least what they told me. I think they forgot to put an order or slip or something in.
Yeah, they might have omitted some information. Yeah. But
so can I plug if people want to look at it?
Yeah,
so just go to Instagram and do #wide911. That's pretty much every picture I've ever taken of the car.
I was gonna say, go ahead and plug yourself, your account, whatever you want to do.
So go right to that #wide911 on Instagram.
Casper, not right now.
Oh.
And if you want to just follow me and all my other travels and other cars that I get to drive, I'm at DB Speed.
That's right.
DB Speed.
And we'll put a picture of it up on our account as well too,
Yeah.
because it is a really clean car. And actually, if I remember correctly, there was a sponsor who had touched the car. Correct?
Right. Yeah. The bearded detailer.
That's right.
Yeah, did a great job. So, and I've gotten. And that's been over a year now, and it's still holding really strong. I mean, obviously the garage, it's very garage kept. But people often say, "Is that original paint? Is that original paint? Is that all original?" Because the paint is so good on it, and it gets a lot of looks.
Yeah, that was oddly enough, I was using your car on my business card before you'd even come to have that car detailed. But I took the picture, so I'm like, well, this is mine. I own the rights to it, so I can do whatever I want with it. And it worked out really well. So when you had messaged me about bringing it over, I'm like, well, it's time to make the business card match. Yeah. So, that was a really interesting. I learned a lot with doing that car because I learned it, then followed up with Jeremy to confirm it, having to do the whole rear end with a 3 1/4 inch pad because you can't use it. The curves are they're tight enough that you have to use something small. You can't get in those spaces.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And a pro tip for anybody out there with a black car, if you haven't figured this out by now, but if you get any dust on it, don't even bother trying to wipe it off because everything's going to swirl on it. So, I'm constantly out there trying to keep this thing clean, but that's the biggest thing with black cars is just suck it up and
Or coat it.
Or
because
coat it,
coating it will add the 9H hardness to it, and that will prevent at least if it does end up swirling or scratching, that coating will be the sacrificial layer.
Yeah.
So you won't be swirling the paint, you'll be swirling the coating, which is nice. So, but yeah, cool. And then you just added another workhorse to the stable.
I did. So 2007 B7 Audi RS4.
Hips.
Hips.
More hips.
I have a thing for hips. So Sprint Blue with the ivory white interior. So they say that it's, I guess, on the records that are now kept for 10 years, there's only 4 in existence.
With that
color.
Combination. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's at least who's raised their hand.
That's a good talking point.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's my daily. I wanted something that. Here are my requirements after I come to the conclusion that I didn't want to get another SUV or something like that. I wanted a V8. I wanted all-wheel drive, and 4 doors.
Was stick a thing, or was that you were on the fence with that?
I was on the fence.
Okay.
My last couple dailies have been, automatic or, flappy paddles. So that's convenient when you're in the cities for sure, for daily driving. But yeah, I mean, then once I really did my homework and research that they only came in manual, I was like, done.
Please be the first one to do an automatic swap.
Yeah. Yeah. What's really cool about the car that I want to share is talk about timeless cars or something like that. You don't necessarily think Audi for being timeless, but they don't really change their shapes. I would consider that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get more technology advanced. The lights changed. Everything gets brighter and squintier and all that. But I had a neighbor who has an AMG that rolled up, and he's like, "Oh man, hey!" He's from Jamaica. He's like, "Is that your new ride, man?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's nice." He's like, "That's brand new."
Yeah.
He thought it was brand new. And I was like,
there are a few cars today that can do that. And I actually, this goes back to a Petrolicious video that I watched, was the 8 Series BMW. If you see a clean one, people think it's a brand new car because there are very few cars that can hold as a current styling 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's
same thing with the Volvo. It's
You happy? You made me swear. It only took 20 minutes, but I
so timeless.
Oh, well. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, you have the RS4 and the 911.
Anything done to the RS4? Or?
No, it's completely the only modification is spacers.
Auxiliary import.
An auxiliary import. I've been shredding the horrible head unit and audio system, and it's just like it took 4 hours to figure out how to sync my phone to the Bluetooth back in 2007. It's
old man. And let's talk about something we take for granted today for technology. Like it's just common sense that you get in a car. Jeremy's texting me, so that's getting turned down now. Anyway, way to go, Jeremy. You're ruining our podcast, and we will call you. He said we can call him. So. But yeah, we expect now you get into a new car, your phone's going to automatically do that and not worry about a thing, and you'll be able to stream your music, blah, blah, blah. And, you go back to original Bluetooth, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I can only push a button to call somebody? I can't even, voice to
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, my approach generally with any automotive styling, whether if it's, a classic 911 or a modern car, I try to keep it as OEM as possible with, making the more modern upgrades for comfortability, drivability, all that, so.
I'm a big retrofit guy.
Yeah.
If it can be something that can be swapped in from a newer convenience or something that didn't come on the car, or maybe a European option that was nicer than what we get, I'm all about that. Anyone who knows me is probably like, oh, fuck yeah, of course. We know.
Oh, you swap the bulbs out again.
Like I just did the rear fog retrofit on the All-Track, which, to my knowledge, I'm the first one to do on an All-Track.
Yeah.
Boom.
But it's the same as a Golf. So anyone who's done it on a Golf, it's nothing special. But it's just something I like having. I love having a rear fog.
Oh, yeah.
Every car I've had has had one so far. So,
and this one's got the RS4 as dual.
Yep. A lot of Audis do.
Yeah.
Because my A4 had it too. Yep.
So I love putting them on and blasting the person behind me.
If you're tailgating, On it goes. Absolutely. That is I just have LEDs coming for mine now, so they'll be even brighter. Yeah.
So that was one thing I did in the 911. So I swapped all retrofit LEDs. So you can get them out there. There's a guy on Pelican who just does it privately, but full board. So the lighting in a 30-year-old car is horrible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of retrofitting out there you can do. You just got to make sure that you swap out your relays and all that stuff. There was a Dutchiness
stuff,
there, by the way. Relays.
It
just didn't roll off the tongue too well there, but I enjoy tinkering around with all that stuff. That's kind of my release.
Yeah.
It was my weekends, just spending a couple hours in the garage doing one thing. So those are the two cars that I pretty much do that on.
Awesome.
Right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you being on board. We've actually had quite a bit of Porsche 911 talk on this show over the episodes, so it's nice to actually have someone who can contribute. Well, we had Jeremy. I guess Jeremy.
We did, yeah.
Did he have? Yeah, he had it at that point. Yeah. So okay, cool. Well, let's move on now. Look, I want to get to the elephant in the room. Today is going to be the final installment of the Volvos Saga. Now, last episode, there was a glitch. I hadn't backed up my computer, so all the stuff you talked about I
don't even remember what I talked about.
Exactly, but it didn't end up in the episode because it glitched. So I had erased about 15 minutes of it. So let's make this simple.
Mm-hmm. I'm done.
Okay, moving on. Oh wait. Okay, let's finish this. We didn't even talk about the intro car.
No, we didn't.
Okay, final Volvo installment, and we'll get to the intro car.
All right, so for those of you that have been listening over the last 37 years of my life that this has taken, everything was good. Everything was good. Everything was peachy. Everything was running right. There was no smoke anywhere. Nothing was happening.
That's called a ticking time bomb.
And so the one weekend a few weeks ago, I met up with Don P90 and a couple of our friends in Queens, and we were going to
FYB.
We were going to an FCP Euro meet in Connecticut. They had like a big Volvo / Euro meet over there, so we're like, oh, let's take a ride, let's see what's going on. And they have a Cars and Coffee. We haven't been there. It'll probably be fun. So we met up. I took the Golf. I didn't take the wagon. And when we were in Connecticut, and we were on I-95 North. Peachy old I-95, and I would say that I hit a pothole, but that would not do that pothole justice. I hit a moon crater.
I was about to say moon crater.
one that you can fill many small children.
You can put a whole bus probably.
Half the car fit in the hole.
And you know what? I bet you it's the same one that I hit back in like 2012 with the R32.
Considering that it's Connecticut and I have a chance to it is the same pothole.
We were
definitely not fixed.
It was on 95, right?
Yeah, middle lane.
Yep.
Middle lane.
It was probably the exact
left side of the lane.
Probably.
Yeah. So yeah.
I only blew a tire though, thankfully.
So yeah, I didn't blow any tires, but I.
What did you blow?
So I drove through it. I couldn't really move. I couldn't really change lanes or anything because there was cars around me. So I went through it, and I had my steering wheel straight. And as I exited the pothole, my steering wheel was tilted. So
not straight.
We pulled off on the side of the road, and I got out for a second to see if I had a flat because I felt a little bit of a vibration after. I'm like, maybe I'm starting to lose air. Pull over the car. I look outside. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, wow, the tires are fine. This is good. Okay. But why is my driver's side wheel look like I'm camber gang the fuck out? Why does it look like my wheel is sideways inside my car?
H2 bro.
It's H2 bro, yeah. So I came around, and I look at the front of the car, and I'm just kind of looking at it from the front, looking at the passenger side and driver's side. I'm like, oh, I bent something. So instead of going to the meet, we drove back to Queens to a shop that Dom knows really well that I've been to a couple times where Ryan detailed the R32 the initial time.
Yeah.
So they took the car up on a lift. I bent both driver's side wheels. They replaced the inner and outer tie rods. And even after all the corrections and an alignment, they were able to reset the rear to where it needed to be. It was, kind of equivocal on both sides. But my driver's side front wheel is still at like -3 or -3 and change degrees. So that's something that we're going to be looking at today, obviously, afterwards. You're thinking it's probably the strut.
I'm 99.9%.
It's very unlikely that it's the control arm because they're super girthy like Christoph. And so, so the next day, long story short, I was all down in the dumps about my Golf being all meh. So I'm like, let me take the wagon out. We're going to go get breakfast. So I grabbed Paul and his girl. I'm like, yeah, let's go get breakfast. So we go to get breakfast, and I left my phone in the car. So I'm coming back out to the car, and I look underneath the car, and I'm like, I see some saturation. I look underneath, and there's a giant puddle of oil underneath the fucking car, and I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
This is motor number what? 4?
I don't know.
In the car?
I don't even know.
Let's just say 4.
I think
Let's
it's 4.
just say 4. Yeah.
But so I left it there. Initially, I forgot I thought I had towing with Geico, and I don't. I don't have any like AAA service or anything. So I'm like, all right, let me just leave it here. We'll figure it out. So I was like, okay, how much for a tow truck? This and this, and they quoted me, obviously pretty high amounts. So I'm like, maybe we'll just. So we hypothetically spoke to our hypothetical police officer neighbor, who hypothetically said that I think he thinks it's hypothetically okay for us to just pull it as long as it's nighttime. So hypothetically. So we bought a line, and we kind of limped it back home. So he would pull me out of certain areas, but then at certain points, I saw that I was coasting and turning it on and driving it, because the leak was not so fast that it was like
pissing.
Yeah. So I bought a couple of bottles of oil. I would start the car, drive it, and as soon as I hit a hill, I would just turn it off and just coast. And as soon as I would go back up, I would turn it back on and drive through it. So I basically limped it back home like that. And then just this past weekend,
does it only leak when it's running or no?
Yeah.
Oh, so when it's
it runs a little bit after if it's warm.
Right.
But then, it takes a while for the leak to produce itself. So I found it the other day, and it's coming from right around where the water pump is, or either above where the water pump is and or at the same time below where the cam is, so somewhere around there. And it's like a nice little stream. But so is it fixable? Yeah. Is it probably fixable fairly simply? Yeah. But I'm done. I don't care. I got dicked on the return from Reman's Engines, which is what their name is.
It's finally time to put them on blast.
Yeah, so Reman's Engines, SW Engines, don't ever, ever, ever get a used engine from them. It took me, as anybody that listens to the show knows, it's been about a year now to get a replacement motor. Actually 3 replacement motors, because they sent me one which was bad. They sent me another one which was had a leak down test performed, and it was horrid. They sent the third one, which it was fine, and it still probably is fine. It's probably just a bad seal. That's probably what's going on in there. But I had copious amounts of money into this car and into the replacement, and I calculated it yesterday. They reimbursed me for exactly 1/6 of the cost of the repairs.
Which we talked. I think we talked about it briefly.
That it was probably, and I kind of knew something like that was going to happen. As far as like, I knew they weren't going to cover everything.
But here's the thing: one, they didn't tell you that up front.
No, they told me that I was going to reimburse in full.
So what? And to them, they technically did.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't know or don't remember all the time is that for an extended warranty, they never pay 100% of the shop rate.
Yeah.
They have their own warranty rate, which is very, very low, which makes no sense to me. I think it's what they do is they take I think it's an average of all the shops all over the country, and then that's their fixed price. So if your shop is $100 an hour, like Kresge is, their rate was what, $50 an hour?
Yeah.
For reimbursement, it was $50 an hour. So it's either usually at the dealership when I was working there, we would have to lower our rate to cover it, because the customer, it's not fair that the customer should have to pay that. They bought the warranty. So usually the shop has to eat that remaining bit. It's not fair, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And in this case, they did reimbursement with you, and you're getting half of pretty much of what you paid for the labor.
Yeah, and according to that, so I don't know how in the world they quoted out the entire job to be 8.5 hours, because there's no I don't care what shop you are or how expensive.
That's probably not including the leak down. That's probably not including any swapping.
Well, but that's
over
fine.
bits.
But count that stuff over. But you have to swap bits because they send you a short block. That's what it is. Yep. You have to swap bits. You can't charge. But it is what it is. I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. I'm done. That's
so
it's
going.
It's going.
Okay.
I'm in talks with 2 friends regarding that who could definitely use, like, as much as it's been a massive debacle or debacle or however you want to pronounce it.
Debacle?
Debacle.
That's a Dutchy word.
It is. At the end of the day, almost every single thing underneath the hood of that car is new.
Yeah.
Everything. All the parts, everything is new. So they can definitely use it because they have
the
same
oil.
car. And the oil. The oil is fresh AF.
It's fresh every 5 seconds.
Yeah, so they could definitely use it for their own needs and stuff. I know one of them, the last thing that he needs to compliment that car, because this car is stupid clean and very well sorted. The only thing he really needs to finalize it to make it like the real 850R of Europe is a manual swap, which is exactly what he would get out of it. So, if they wanted, like I said, I told him gonna let it go fairly a lot less than I have invested into it, obviously. So I just want to kind of get rid of it, take a step back, and figure out what I'm gonna do afterwards. And that's it, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I clap too? I'll clap too.
What a better way to start off season 2 than no more Volvo.
I know.
Well, it's not gone yet, so I guess we can't say that. But
intro car.
yes, I was going to say, let's get into that now. So I will replay it, so it's a little fresh, and then we'll make some calls because I have both of them saying we're waiting on you. Well, you will wait. All right. So let me replay that.
It's a V8 turbo.
Correct. It has a little bit of
Technically.
Yeah, maybe it's like a supercharged.
It is force induct.
Yeah.
Force induct. Okay.
So to be honest, actually, we were talking about that before you got here. That I'm not very good at guessing either. I would not be able to guess this one.
No.
Now, to my knowledge, this car is factory. There's nothing done to this, to my knowledge.
Really?
So I would not be able to guess it.
And it's also Manuel.
But you did very good. So you got that. We're up to a force induction V8 manual.
Any ideas?
I will give you a hint.
Okay.
It was so this body style is it's not a typical car that you'd see all over them. I've never seen one in person.
Lotus Esprit.
No. They ran this car from 04 to 07. They made just under 5,000 units of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was not a reproduction, but a reboot of a car back in the day, and it is American. And I'm doing this because this is going to air on 9/11, so I wanted to go American.
Okay.
I did have another car queued up instead, but that was Japanese, and we can't let them win. So holding on to that Pearl Harbor,
crap, man.
really.
This is a little tough. So it is pretty rare, and it is a reboot.
Yeah, it is rare. Yeah.
Man.
It is supercharged, it's telling me.
Okay, yeah.
Which is odd because that didn't sound like a supercharged
That's
car.
what you could hear.
You could hear the whistle.
You
Yeah.
could definitely hear that, and
But usually hear a whine with.
right. So, yeah,
I wonder
I'm leaning in the Ford family.
Yeah,
you'd be right.
I was gonna. Yeah.
So,
So what are limited production
Shelby's.
Ford.
No.
GT.
GT. Yeah. So it's the Ford GT.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know the exact year of this one because they did that for a little bit.
As soon as you said like limited run 04 to 07, I started thinking about those, and I'm like, but I didn't really know if those were supercharged. I couldn't remember.
5.4 supercharged.
They sound really good.
Yeah.
They sound really, really good.
It's probably the same. That's a 6-speed. I bet you it's the same motor they put in like the Harley Davidson F-150. It's a 5. That's a 5.4 supercharged.
it's
probably.
I think it is. Yeah.
I mean, Ford's 5.4. It is what it. Which I had that in my my F-150, not the supercharged, just the 5.4, and that was a beast in itself. But yeah, so Ford GT, and the original heritage was the GT40 or GT9? What was
I think it was the other.
GT40.
Yeah.
No, GT40 was the concept car. Oh man, now I feel.
Well, no, wasn't it the GT? No, the GT90 was the one
The original?
Need for Speed that we talked about. I think. Remember that white one with
No,
the
it was
winter?
the significant GT40 consecutive 4-time winner of the 24-hour in 66 to 69.
Yeah.
Yep,
So then
it's GT40.
Yeah. But then the one in 04, 07 is the GT, isn't it?
That's just Ford GT.
Yeah.
It was a concept of GT90, and then a concept of GT40, and then they released it as a GT.
Yeah.
Ford GT.
There you go.
So yeah.
Awesome.
What do you guys think of the new ones?
The newest one?
Yeah.
I actually, until I looked it up, I had not seen a thing about it. So I have never seen one in person.
I've always had a thing for them. I like the new ones.
So it looks like they're planning to run that for 4 years until 2020 and do about 250 per year. So was that 2,000 units?
1,000.
No.
1,000.
For 4 years?
For 4
yeah,
years,
that's right.
it's
Yeah.
50,
Again, not good at
Not
math.
with the maths. No
10
math.
fingers. And that is a 3.5 EcoBoost twin turbo.
Yes, EcoBoost.
V6.
That's their big thing now.
And that engine's a very capable motor. Even the guys with the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic of Ford, for once, I want to not look at a new Mustang and go do I really need the R32 anymore? I keep when a Mustang GT the new body style GT goes by me. I go, man, I don't really need a family car.
They're nice.
But apparently that aluminum body is now giving a ton of troubles with paint.
Oh, really?
The paint is separating away from the metal. And there was in the Optimum installers group that I'm in, one of the guys posted that this one Ford dealership near him said that they're doing one car a day because of this. The paint's just lifting from the body. Who would have thought aluminum would have a problem?
How is one car a day going to solve their issue?
No, for repainting.
Oh.
They're repainting one vehicle a day.
Oh, shit. What?
And I don't know how much of their line they changed over. I know definitely the truck and the Mustang. I don't know if the Explorer as well got it, but I know they switched a big part of their line.
I know guys.
So it's just like flaking off?
It's starting to lift like you would get a bubble.
Oh, wow.
Like for a rust bubble, but it's not rusting. It's just separating.
Well, that reason alone of the aluminum body, especially in the trucks, I know people that will not buy that truck because it has an aluminum body.
Yeah. I mean, we joked around with Ryan when he was on about the whole military grade. You know, that's not something to really brag about because it goes to the lowest bidder. But, I mean, I guess for them to maybe using because Kevin and I were talking about this, maybe a thicker aluminum would solve this. Like, I know they went for cost savings and weight.
Weight, sure.
But in order for them, they might have to. They'll make changes after this. We'll see how that goes. But
for the price point of the new Mustang, it's a lot. You get a lot for that. For that price. I've driven one, and you think so comparing classic muscle versus modern muscle. There's so much technology they've put into the Mustang now. It's actually an easy car to drive with a crazy amount of horsepower, but it's very respectable.
Yeah, I hate myself when I see one on the road. I'm like, man. But then I remember, the dealership will only give me $8,000 for the R32.
And then just look 4 cars behind you, and there's another one, and then another one, and then another one. So
but they're easy to get power out of. They look great.
They do look good.
They look fantastic. But now with that whole aluminum and paint thing, I would think twice before buying anything with the aluminum body.
Yeah.
Knowing that now, probably. But let's make some phone calls.
Ooh, do it.
So let's do it.
Debacle.
Kevin said, not good. Oh, Kevin. All right, we'll start with Jeremy. We'll start with Jerome. I went to school with a kid named Jeremy, and he had the spelling of Jerome. So every substitute teacher that would come in would call for Jerome. He's like, it's Jeremy.
Jake Wellen.
Oh, you done messed up, Aaron.
I had the same problem with David. That's a callback to the beginning of the episode.
That's
what they do in the business.
Here we go.
Ooh. We hate you, Jeremy.
Hello?
Is this Jerome Matula?
Medella?
Who's asking?
Wouldn't you like to know? What's up,
Not
bud?
interested in what you're selling, mister.
Say. You want to come
Hey,
out
what's
and
going
clean
on,
my
guys?
gutters? I got a whole freezer full of popsicles. How you been, man?
Oh, good. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good, man.
And we have Mr. Dave Snyder here as well.
Oh my gosh.
You know
No
him.
way.
Yeah.
Is he the guest on the show today?
He is surprise guest.
Oh, nice.
Surprise.
Hey,
guest.
what's up, Dave?
How's it going? Good. I was enjoying
I was just texting Dave.
Oh, you were
just texting Dave yesterday, bothering him about some stuff.
Yeah, he mentioned there may be a proposal.
Right. Yeah.
There's a proposal out there right now.
It's getting serious.
You want to make it public, or no?
It's up to Jeremy if he wants to share what he's looking to do there. Maybe that's.
Yeah. So the proposal is, Dave has this gorgeous set of new BBS wheels for his 911, and so as he runs that setup for the rest of the summer, I kind of threw it out there that I'd love to run a set of Fuchs on mine down at Ocean City for H2O coming up. So we've hatched up a deal to kind of do a temporary wheel swap or a wheel loan. Hopefully it all works out. Have to check some tire sizes on my end today.
Because what size do you have that you're running?
Right now, I have a 16 by 7 square setup.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yours are
like,
square. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like spaced out really far in the rear.
Spaced.
So I just need to make sure that it'll all work out with tire sizes because basically the way that we worked it out is, I don't know how much Dave has shared, but he's going to refinish his Fuchs. So wheels and tires need to come off, and I just want to make sure that I have a use for the 16s that he has on that setup now, or kind of like backups for my set.
Cool. Yeah, that's at the end of the month,
so
right?
Yeah, end of the month.
H2 Bro.
End of September into October, that weekend. That falls in between the 2 months.
Yeah, cool. So I know we were going to get to what did you do to this your car this week, and I know you had mentioned, since we're on the phone with you, you did a nice little upgrade to yours. Yeah,
the loan upgrade that I did was the Wevo, the Windrush Evolution's precision shift joint coupler, which basically is like a direct replacement for the factory shift coupler that even brand new, or if you upgrade the bushings in them, has a decent amount of play, where just shifting in and out of any gear, there's kind of like a little bit of extra slop left over. So Wevo makes this replacement, and then another company that makes a replacement is Stomsky Racing in Maryland. But it's the same idea, and it's kind of really tightened up everything with the 915 transmission, particularly for me, like the first to second gear shift, which I know you've driven the car, Christoph, so you know, was always kind of like a little iffy, kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
It's completely eliminated like all of the sketchiness with that 1 to 2 shift. So that's been like a huge, just kind of stress reliever for me driving the car around.
Dave, do you have the same thing with yours, or?
Yeah, I was talking to Jeremy last night. Even with a new OEM replacement, when it gets hot or just whenever, shifting from first to second can be, you have to be right there, and it's like it's hard to get it into second sometimes. But you know, once you're there, you're good. But
you're definitely not winning any speed shifting contests with that trans.
No, and on last episode when you were playing the soundbite, I think it was a 993. He said that he was shifting light. So I thought at first maybe it was the clip that we recorded.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
If you can, maybe we can pull that up at some point, or you can check out the video clip. I shifted pretty quick through that, and it does take some learning.
Yeah.
Not only shifting, running through the gears, but the clutch in air cooled is so different. And as Germany can probably attest, right?
Yeah, I mean, only Kevin Wesolowski is the only person that I know that can speed shift at 915.
Well, because he's the human DSG. We all know this. Oh, well, cool beans, man. Well, we appreciate you having you on. We have a laundry list of callers ahead of you.
Hey, no worries. What's just before I go, what's the topic of the episode today? I'm kind of excited.
Volvos are evil, and nobody likes Volvos.
It was the last installment of the Volvo Saga that you'll hear about.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear this. I've gotten a little bit of a preview of what has happened recently, but Casper, my heart goes out to you, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I
can't
doesn't.
believe it.
It's all done. It's all wrapped up, man.
So you're on to the next chapter. Which
hopefully.
Might be a completely different car.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe not right away, but yeah.
Yeah, he's already priced out a Corvette, so.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I want my penis to disappear from the face of the planet.
That's what we've discussed.
There's nowhere to go but up from here.
I think so too.
He could get a Beetle.
That probably would still be going up.
It would be an upgrade. No, they leak oil too, but they're supposed to. Right?
Right. Yeah. Back on my first car, when I was in college and I had no money, the Beetle was leaking oil, so I would put a little catch underneath it. So if it didn't rain the next morning, I looked at the oil and I just poured it right back. I just poured it right back in, and I mean,
it was a Beetle. You could do that.
It was fine. So
yeah.
I mean, you could have tried that too.
I put a carpet underneath it just to not mess up the driveway. That's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, it was good talking to you. I'll chat with you on the flip side.
All right. Sounds good, guys.
All right. Have a good one, man.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All righty. We'll go on to Alexander Belinsky, who's been on the show.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened the last few weeks, but I really started to like the Mark 7s, and I never, ever really liked the Mark 7s.
So, is it true that they're piping sound into that vehicle?
They've done that as far back as the Mark V.
Right. But
It was a throttle body. So on the throttle body, it splits into a Y pipe, and then it uses that air to go up into the rain tray, and there's a resonator, and that's called your sound makers.
But I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but through the audio system.
No, they're not.
Not on the 6s.
They went from
some cars
having
do have that, though.
They went from having a mechanical one to a digital one, and I don't know as much about the Mark 7R. If that has that, it might. Actually, Alex has a Mark 7R. We can ask him.
He'll know. But the 7s, like, just recently, I don't know what it is about them, but they just started to really appeal to me.
Yeah.
Even though I still prefer the interior and the exterior and everything on mine. But there's just something.
You haven't driven a 7R, have you?
Not yet.
When you drive one,
If
you drive
I don't know that many people that have them.
Well, Alex has one. Lars has one.
Yeah, they do, and we have the same barber, so maybe I'll hit up Lars.
Yeah.
Dub and Dub C.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're pretty addicting. Here we go. It's the only answer.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message system.
Bob's House of Beef. You feel it, we go get.
Hey, I was wondering, you got yourself some slabs of meat over there? I'm really hankering for some meat.
Reckon we do.
Oh, good. Can you go ahead and throw it in my face hole?
In your what?
Face hole. I want some big sausage right in my face hole.
I reckon that'll cost a little extra.
Oh, whatever you got, I'm willing to pay for it. How are you, man?
I don't always do this, but I kind of like the sound of your voice, boy.
I've been told I got a pretty mouth.
And you get in there nice and deep like.
Leave him alone, Skeeter. He ain't nothing wrong with him. All right, what's going on, man?
What's up? Nothing, buddy. How you doing?
Good. So obviously you're on Gear Shift. Got Casper and our special guest Dave Snyder.
What's up?
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
What is happening? And actually, we were just talking before getting on the phone with you about how Casper is starting to really like the Mark 7R.
Wow. I don't like them.
You don't like him?
No.
I figured.
Well, and actually, we were talking about does the Mark 7 have a noisemaker, an electronic?
Yeah, it does. You can disable it, VAGCOM.
Okay, so it's no longer because I know we were talking about the old one was an actual pipe that you disconnected from the throttle body. So this is now
No,
digital.
this is like an actual module.
Oh, jeez, wow. Yes. Well, because they went to the 4-cylinder turbo and it doesn't make noises like. Actually, no, because the Mark V R32 did have a sound maker as well too. Like
did
a
it?
VR, yes, it did.
Really?
Yep. Yep. I know I deleted it. It's pointless.
Well,
but, yeah. So how you been, man? What did you do to your car this week?
Bought a turbo.
Why? Did yours fail?
No, it's functioning.
Oh,
It just
so you bought a turbo?
Yeah. See, it's all about the inflection of how you said it. You know.
Because the way you said it is the way I would have said I bought a motor.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I bought a turbo.
Well, no, sorry, it wasn't Alex speaking. It was his wallet speaking.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, this is true. So
what did you get?
CTS Boss 600.
Which is the GT30?
I'm currently talking on the phone, Elizabeth. That's right. I told you.
You go back there. I've got to feed this guy's.
You shut your mouth. Oh, say hi to Beth for me. I haven't seen Beth in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you got the 30, not the 28, right?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
all the gains?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to slow. Your power's going to come up a little later, higher up in the.
It's going to kill my low end, but it'll bring the top end up. So.
Right. So have you and Kevin already scheduled the race? Huh?
I said that way I can keep up with the human DSG.
That's I literally just said. Did you and Kevin already schedule your grudge match?
We can put a date on, but we discussed.
Yeah, well, he'll probably just take a spark plug out. Actually, we're gonna attempt to call him next. He sounds like he's probably hungover, so that's prime.
Yeah.
That's prime time calling Kevin. So you ordered a turbo.
Single life.
Yeah, seriously. So you ordered a turbo. What else did you do?
Drove it.
Wow.
That doesn't happen every day.
No, I know it does actually.
That's about it, man. Oh, I scratched the hood.
Yeah.
With clay bar.
Yeah.
Why is
I don't
the
know
car?
how I did that.
Why is it being clayed?
Well,
I had a spot, and it looked like like a leaf was sitting on it at one point, and I just decided, you know what, throw a little power clean on it, and did that. Let it sit, washed it off, did some O&R, and then threw some spray wax on and clay barred it, and then I don't know. It must have been maybe a little. I don't know. I have no idea, dude.
So I mean, I know you and I talked about this, but what you didn't do is you didn't consult your your detailer.
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll let it slide because your detailer's gonna have to fix it, so that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, at least I didn't put a wheel to it.
That's because then you would have just. I mean, you would have fixed it, but you would have removed the coating. So
Yeah, well, I didn't know that part.
yeah. So it'll be an easy fix. We'll take care of it for you.
I'm new to this whole ceramic world.
And actually, I just remembered it's coming up on 1 year since the first time I did your car with Pro, and then removed the Pro.
What was it? February? Maybe March?
No, September 11th. 1 year.
Never forget.
Never forget. Never forget. And then your car. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it this weekend a year ago. So
Wow.
time flies. Usually in a linear
I
motion.
guess it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was later than that, man.
You know what? We really were expecting a better call from you, Alex. You're really down.
Dude, I'm tired, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, it's good talking to you, and
That's fine. Understood.
well, no, you didn't have to accept the call, but then you you didn't have to accept it.
It would have been funny if he actually told you to call and then just kept forwarding you to voicemail. Nope.
Well, it's something to shoot for next time.
Well, he got a turbo, so that's good.
Yeah, you got a turbo.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
So what did Jeremy get?
Not a turbo.
No.
He
You'll
fixed the shift coupler.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to the episode.
Can and will.
Oh, gotcha.
Hooked.
All right, man. Well, hey, you enjoy your weekend. I know you got some time with your little guy there, so go ahead and do that. Go finish getting yelled at by Beth.
He's being a little swag, if you will.
Oh, Schwag, yeah. You'll have that. Is he lit AF?
I'd say he's lit.
Not AF, though.
Not AF.
Okay.
No.
Well, you say you tell him
Little.
you tell him that I said hi. He'll appreciate
He's a little
it.
wound up. He had his Batman costume on, and I put my Flash costume on, and we were chasing people around. So
Now-
that's what my Saturday mornings are like.
Did wait, you had the Flash costume on with clothing, or because I know you have that other one.
This time I had clothing on.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. I guess the restraining order last time was enough for you to wake up. So okay, good.
It was.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna call Kevbo, hopefully.
All right.
So
Better luck with him then, I guess. 'Cause I'm not with him. Okay.
All right, man. It's good talking to you.
Later, dude.
All right.
Later.
I'm trying to. I have not met him before, but
You've met Alex?
I don't think so. But I'm trying to picture that, and I'm because
That's
that
a
happens in
dealership.
that happens in my household a lot, where we dress up as superheroes.
Oh,
That's pretty
and we
cool.
run around. I have two boys, so we do
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
see, well, I have princess dress up. I do not dress up as a princess, to make that
Yes,
very
you
clear.
do.
I have had a crown put on me, but
You're the bearded princess.
the bearded princess.
That could be the next installment of.
That's the next line of Bearded Enterprises LLC is bearded princess.
gonna register that domain name now.
Nobody steal that. That is mine.
Damn.
Oh, you
Damn.
just IG'd it.
IG what?
Follow this page.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
how are you not?
Oh, I'll give you all the follows.
Wouldn't it suck if like Kevin had a date with somebody and he was just waking up with them and like,
Who is that?
It's like, shh, would you be quiet? I'm on the podcast.
what's his name? He's not gonna answer.
No. He's not picking up. He's way too. Yeah, he's still recovering. He's not picking up.
He texted me. He did.
And he'll say, "Go fuck
He just said,
yourself."
"Oh, not good." That's all he said.
Your call has been forwarded to
Are
an
we leaving a
automated
voicemail?
voice messaging
Yeah, we did it
system.
last time, so
Here, let me start.
beep that out.
Is
Yeah.
not available.
Forgot about that.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Kev, this is Dave Snyder. I'm hanging out with these podcast guys for the first time. I don't know, it's weird, but we'll talk about it later. About that carbon cleaning for the RS4, could you really do that this weekend? I'm in a pinch, thanks.
Like right now, could you come over to my house and do it for him right now? I got 2 cases of Zima. Well, more like a case and 3/4 now. I've tapped into it a little bit, and yeah. Well, I told you we were going to call, and you didn't answer.
Yeah, and that's a problem. And also, as far as the trade deal goes, so you're going to look over the Miata, and we're trading. So basically what's happening is we're trading the Jetta for the Volvo, you know, straight up, and then on top of it, you're going to add looking over the Miata. So, okay, thanks. Well, you go ahead and recover there, buddy.
And don't worry, we will not blame his failing Volvo on you.
No. But
There's
it is your,
no,
it is your
no
fault,
way.
though.
You were the last one to touch the motor.
100% your fault.
Yeah. So, well, we love you and look forward to your recovery, speedy recovery.
Be well.
Bye. That went very well. That went very well.
And you actually did have something to say.
I did, and he's gonna like get the like text to voice like translation and
Yeah.
start read the first line, go delete.
Yeah, but I actually did give him the number that we were going to be calling from. So I'm like, hey, put this in your phone because it comes up as a 484 number. So actually, I don't mind giving out that phone number right now because if anyone wants to call us with like they want to leave us voice feedback or leave us a message and then we can play it on the next episode.
That's true too.
I will tell you the number 484-852-1759er. Go ahead and it was a 9er.
Was that a last? You know, you calling from a walkie-talkie?
It was cordless. Oh, it's a good movie. Yeah, go ahead. You can leave us some voice feedback. Actually, leave us whatever you want.
Yeah.
It may not ring. It might because it's based off of Google Voice, so it may not ring. I may not answer. So go ahead and do that. Yeah, and I downloaded the air horn. You tap it yourself.
That's fucking fantastic.
You can do it slow. You go.
That's just great.
Yeah, let's see here. What else we have to cover? Oh, well, we'll touch on this really quickly, and I want it to be more of a bigger topic, but this is airing on September 11th. It'll be the 16th anniversary of the terror attacks in New York City, and I really wanted this to be a bigger topic about how that actually affected the car community, because it did, whether you really think about it or not. Gas prices went up, not immediately. Actually, there were a few cases of some individual gas stations purposely gouging it themselves. Mm-hmm. But then over time, throughout the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, prices would go up and peak in 2012, I think, and then go back down. And now it's actually starting to go back up now because of the hurricanes rolling through. But yeah, man, I was 15 in biology 102 because I wasn't smart enough for 101. And I remember when that happened. Well, you were like 10. 11.
I was 11. I was 3 miles away?
Yeah.
4 miles away? Yeah.
Were you were in school, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
How did they handle that?
Class. I was in band class, and one of my friends came in laughing his ass. I was like, dude, tell me how somebody like accidentally flew a plane into the Twin Tower. We had no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody's like, what? That's crazy, dude. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad, but like that's all the information that we got. And next thing we know, it's like I think 12 o'clock at this point, and we what's it called? They grab the entire school, put them in the auditorium to everybody, every single student.
So they waited
went
till
into the auditorium.
noon, and you were 3 miles away?
Well, no, I mean, I was in Queens. I'm exaggerating. I don't know if it's like 3 miles away. I was in Queens.
But
so I was
it's still the city. I mean, that's not far.
Yeah. So it's several miles away. But yeah, they pulled all of us into the. It might have been sooner. I don't really remember the time. It was definitely well before like we would normally get out. They pulled everybody into the auditorium, and they're like, "Oh, this is we're calling our parents. We have to. Everybody's gonna get like we're still not putting anything together because we're fucking 11 years old. No, we don't have any information in the school." And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep you here. We're gonna call your parents, try to pick everybody up." And I'm over here like, "What do you mean? Like, my mom's not gonna be able to pick me up because my sister was really young at this point. I'm like, she's gonna have to walk all the way over here." Next thing I know, I see my mom. I'm like, "Why is she here? Like, what's going on?" And then like she pulled me out and she told me what happened. I was like, "What?" So we went home that day, obviously watched the news. I didn't go to school for the next 3 days. The worst part was waking up the next day and the smell of the smoke and the debris finally hit Queens. And that was, like, it was pretty bad, man.
That's crazy.
Manhattan was just covered in smoke. It was,
Where were you?
I was at work because I'm old. So I was at my first probably real job, and I'm in client services, and I'm on the phone with a client in New York. Right in Manhattan, and the call went out.
Oh wow!
And I called him back, and I was able to get through. And I'm like, "What just happened?" I'm like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And yeah, he's like, "I don't know what's going on. I think we're under attack. I think the city's under attack. I don't know when I'll talk."
Was that during the first one or the second?
During the first one.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he's like, "I don't know. I don't even know our conversation, but that's what I remember."
Wow.
And I followed up with him, a few days after, and they were all okay. They were at, a little bit further away from the financial area, but and then we as just we're like, what do we do? Like, we're listening to it on the radio. I mean, the technology back then wasn't anything crazy, our flip phones and stuff. So like, then surrounding buildings near us are starting to evacuate because they're like, well, that's not shit. By this time, it's happened in Pennsylvania, and we're like, oh, what's going down? So I was like, the owners of the company, like, it's up to you if you want to stay and work or you can go home. So a lot of people went home. I think I stayed and worked.
Like the true Pennsylvania Dutch that you are.
I would just stay and work. I called my wife. She was actually at the doctor that morning. I'm like, hey, how was your appointment? Did you hear about anything? No. I'm like, put on the news, any channel. And she saw it, and she was like, oh, my God. Yeah. So she didn't go into work that day. And, years later, mentioning I have kids, they've learned about it in history class and, trying to explain to them what happened and where. But the thing is, it's what we're talking about is you'll always remember where you were that day, what happened. And I was joking earlier, but you do never forget that day.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think now. I know for our school, we shut down. I don't want to say we shut down, but all the TVs in all the classrooms went on from that point on. And it wasn't until I think after lunch when the principal put down the foot and said, no, turn all the TVs off. We're not going to focus on that right now. We can talk about it at another time, but right now we're shut it down. And but I went home, being my family was born in New York City, raised there. I was born there, Long Island, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But my family's from Queens and Ridgewood, and my dad said he remembers going to when they were building the Twin Towers and peeking through the fence and watching them build it. So and then I have an uncle who was there, and so it hit our family a little close to home. And then when you really think about what really puts this in perspective for me, especially being in the military, you have kids who watch their parents go off to war in 2002. They are now old enough to go and fight in those exact same wars. So, I mean, that's a whole nother spectrum of politics and bullshit, but it's crazy. I mean, it's weird because you get the people who never forget, but then sometimes you look back and go, well, I think we kind of have a little bit.
I still get choked up when I see pictures, watch the news. I have an office in Manhattan, and with recent shenanigans that happened, Times Square, a guy driving through it and stuff like that, you think about all of that, and it changed all those things change. I have goosebumps right now thinking about that. I don't walk down the street with headphones on anymore. like so many people are not paying attention to what is going on around you.
Me, I'm looking for that stateside kill. That's what I want. I got to go to war. I came back. I'm just looking for that stateside kill. That's what I want. But
no, it's crazy. I visit a lot. I travel a lot with my line of work.
Well, no one can ride on a plane today and think of. You can't be on a plane without thinking about that. There's that little smidge in everyone.
Yep,
it's there.
And I recently was on a quick. That exact moment, I was on a plane headed west, and the guy in front of me got up right as we were taking off. I did this. My hands clenched, and I'm like,
nope.
I'm the type of person where I'll be the first one up,
or
one of the first ones up, and I'm gonna take him down.
Yeah.
And he got up, and the flight crew attendants, they came out, and they're like, "Sir, you cannot be up right now." He's like, "I need my medicine," and he was just a senile old man, but. You just that trigger happens and you're like, it's going down right now. And
some people, their first reaction is to grab their phone and video it. So
I had that in my hand as well.
Oh, okay. One hand and
one hand fist
and ready.
One hand fist, one hand phone.
But the one thing with how it affected the car community, I really think it shaped a new generation of vehicles as far as fuel efficiency. Because now we had gas being expensive, being that it's everyone. I mean, you have the whole political side of we were at war for oil. But there is a small truth to, because of it, oil prices were going up, and that affected gas prices. So now, I mean, obviously the big reason for wanting to fuel-efficient cars has been pushed more because of the environment. But I think it really got triggered with the war, with oil prices going up. And so I think we have a little bit there was some good that came out of that. Yeah. I think a little bit of good. I mean, a massive loss of lives, but... If for the car community, I think there's a little bit of good that came from that, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, my car's average 13 miles per gallon.
That's awesome. The R32, that's pretty low. The highest I've gotten, like average, is like 27. That's like really babying it though. Cruise control, like the All-Track gets great mileage. That's good.
Yeah, the Subaru does all right. I think it's like on highway it might be like 30.
Yeah.
You know, so that's decent.
For a CVT.
Yeah.
And the symmetrical. I mean, but the symmetry, though, it's so symmetrical.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get into... we're getting into what did you do this week? And we talked to Alex and Cass... and Well, we did talk to you about it. You
did.
Okay, so... going to the Instagram here, we got Kevin. He said, considered lighting the Jetta on fire.
Yeah.
How would he do that? Like...
with a match.
You can't just drop a match on it though. Like there's steps. I would. That's the detail.
You're right.
How would you light it on fire?
And would you?
We need to know these things.
Would it be then? Would you go for like insurance fraud? Like what avenue do you really take? Like.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, you don't. That's a pro tip. I don't recommend it.
See, you get all this quintessential information.
Actually,
on your shift.
If you're following this on like YouTube or something, or watching on YouTube, do a search for "Don't be a weasel," and with insurance fraud, like maybe that keyword, "Don't be a weasel," insurance fraud. There's a little campaign that's happening here in Pennsylvania about doing just that.
Really?
Yeah, watch it. It's pretty funny.
Huh.
Don't be
curious.
a weasel.
We'll share it this week. We'll share it on the Facebook page.
Please do.
No, he's been getting this one little things after the other with the Jetta. It's finally like 200 and some thousand miles later. It's finally just starting to give him crap. It is still a clean car, and oddly enough, he tried selling it to me this week. Just before all of this started happening, like we talked about it the very next day. The exhaust fell off, and then he had massive cracks in the windshield from walnuts, I guess. He still has to do the timing belt.
Where are these walnuts falling from that are putting massive...
Right? Like,
well, if he would have answered the phone, Kevin, we would know.
Are they falling from space?
Atmospheric. Just... Woo! We have Zenki718, and this is probably my favorite post of the day.
I heard that one. I read that one.
Nothing because I'm a piece of shit.
I did see that.
Mark is fucking hilarious, man.
So
out to Mark.
Congrats on doing nothing. Speaking of Weasel, we have Pinch Weasel. He says began acquiring parts for fog light retrofit on his Passat. Passat. We have Connor Newman, who we spoke to on last episode. He said replace the purge valve trying to cure a CEL, did not cure it. And I asked him what code it was, and he said it came up as a PO456, which when I looked it up, it was like a small leak evaporative system. Purge valve is probably a good go-to on a 2.5. Actually, purge valve is a very good one. But it could be anything going all the way back to the charcoal canister. It could be as simple as that. It could be a line somewhere in. That's what sucks. So it might get to the point where you have to do a smoke test. Which, if you ever need a DIY,
an awesome DIY for a smoke test.
Throw a couple cigarettes.
It cost me all of $8.
Throw cigarettes. Oh god, that was janky, but it did the job. So
it worked. It worked well.
Maybe that's how you can light a car on fire.
With menthol. Anyway, then we have VW Family, which is Josh out in California. He did 130,000-mile service on his 13 TDI Passat, and he washed the GLI and got in a vendor booth at Big SoCal Euro. Good week, he said. So it looks like a good time. Did you do anything to your cars this week?
Yeah. So last night, for the RS4, I bought a set of burned 2015, 2016 DVDs to upgrade the navigation and the firmware, because like we're talking about retrofitting and staying with kind of OEM. So, and then I'm hitting the button, the eject button, and eject buttons. The discs aren't coming out, and then I go into forums. You guys talked about forums dying. I looked up.
It's all old stuff.
It was old stuff, but it was like it's locked from Audi. You need a VAGCOM 59.0, and then the eject button will work. I was like, what the heck? I pulled the head unit out. I took the screws out. I'm looking at the top. I'm like, maybe I can just push the disc out. I had it all apart last night. So yeah, the nav has been like the last week and a half of trying to get just an auxiliary port in the back of the RSNE Audi
Highline.
So I have all that. We're gonna run some VAGCOM codes on there, and then,
for the third time.
Vaginal communication,
which is another service the Bearded Detailer will offer. It's not like it doesn't get sold because it's just not so
value add. In my book,
donations are greatly accepted in form of liquid.
Will do.
And it's actually good because the way that Rostec now sells their cables, I wouldn't buy one now from them. That's just the way it is. Because now they limit how many times.
I remember that. That's kind of bullshit, man. Honestly,
I had one years ago. Because I've had Mark IVs, which you need to just keep it plugged in. I've had a B5.5 Passats, B6, B7, B8. I've had a ton of Passats. So I was like, my Passat's pretty good. I don't need it anymore. And I sold it. I was like, it was like $500. I got $500.
They hold their value.
VAG can or whatever it was, and
the CAN bus.
So I sold it, and now I need to buy another one.
Yep.
Keep it just in the RS4.
And man, if someone is selling a used one now, you can easily.
I was going to say they could
back.
probably get us money.
Yep, because if you get an old one, you don't have to follow the new rules, which is really nice.
So how do you like the RS4? Like all little tinkering aside and everything.
It's a good car.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's smaller. So comparing it to the frame, like the chassis size, it's equivalent to probably like an A3.
A new one,
new A3.
Yeah.
So it's smaller, so people don't like. It's got a decent sized hood, obviously.
Well, everything's getting bigger now,
right?
Yeah.
So I like it. It's smaller. The manual side of it is really fun. I mean, you just automatically hit the S button, so opens everything up, and it's loud.
Yeah.
Loud enough with the stock exhaust. It's fun. I mean, I've quote unquote push it pretty hard.
Yeah. I need to coax you into getting a ride later.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've pushed it pretty hard. I mean, it's a pretty it needs carbon cleaning, but it's still a lot of horsepower, and it's respectable.
It's linear power that's instant because there's no lag.
There's no lag, and no matter first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the gears, the power band is so consistent and so smooth.
Yep.
There's no oh, I just almost ripped it. You expect something to kick in, a turbo. There's none of that. So part of you is like, but for a daily, it's perfect for that. So I've been really enjoying it. The car's super clean, which I would have no other car.
No other way,
And I don't plan to really mod it. I'm gonna make it simple and do all the maintenance on it and make it reliable. And have fun with it in the snow and everything else.
Which I think the big thing on that car is just carbon cleaning.
Yeah.
And maintenance. I think that's really the big thing on that. I don't know.
Is it a step one remove motor type of car or no?
For some things, yeah. I mean, I think.
But do those things go frequently on these cars?
Oh no,
that's
not
what I mean.
as
Yeah,
not
that's
as
where
much.
that's where I was going.
When I was
timing would be the only thing. If you have to do the chains, you have to rip the whole thing out.
Yeah. When I was doing my research out there, so the other reason I decided to I was like, all right, I'm gonna rather than buy something brand new, I'm gonna get something that is done depreciating.
Yep. And
get into something decent. If I hit a deer or something, well, that's $20,000 out.
Yep.
But the cars they still hold their value. I saw RS4s out there that had 140, 150,000 miles on them. They still wanted 20 for them.
That's crazy.
And how many does this have?
Insane.
84.
Yeah, that's not
Oh,
bad.
wow.
Yeah.
So I thought I got it at a good. It needed some simple things.
Yeah.
So I got it at a good price, and because I need extra bucks because gas price. It does. I think it like 190 miles on a tank.
Really?
Wow.
About 13
That's
miles per gallon.
glorious.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know. Yeah, the R32. If for Crystal's daily driving, she can get around 275 to 250.
220 was the most I ever got, and it was like, like it was gonna run out.
You can tell it's on fumes. Like,
but it's pretty fun. It's Philly. It's got like sunshades, mechanical sunshade. The kids are like, let's go in that. It's like, put up the sunshades.
Yeah, it's got all the little
stupid
bells and whistles and such.
Yeah,
That's
you
cool.
that you would accept.
I like the color a lot. I like that.
The color is a good color.
That's
It's very
that's-
close to like Nagaro.
Yeah.
The old Nagaro.
That's what did it, because I was like, I'm never owning another black car after having black cars after black cars.
Yeah.
So I'm done with black. And then I was like, okay, can I do a red? Maybe I could do a red, but that's really standing out.
And it's pretty common. It's a common color for that car.
So
Which actually, speaking of, so I go through these phases of this is what I want, and then a week later I'm like, no, I don't want that anymore. This is what I want. And so yesterday, for shiggles, not really because I want it, but I have always liked them. I looked at them a couple of years ago, and they did drop in price. I started looking at like the 08 to like 12 C63 AMGs.
Mm-hmm.
I came across, I've never come across this before. I came across a red one. You think AMG, you think black, silver, white.
Yeah.
I went through the entire country of
But I can picture it,
cars.com.
though. But I can picture it,
Dude,
though.
it looks
Yeah.
so fucking good.
It's
It looks
really nice.
so good. I've never seen it in a red
Wait, is
before.
that what Dom's brother has or no?
Dom's brother has something. I think it's a CLS 55. I think he has.
AMG still though.
The one that looks like a CC.
The one that,
that
it's like really squat.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just- It's been
yeah.
smushed.
I'll tell you right now, I think that's what he has. But his is super nice though
Yeah,
too.
his
I mean,
is,
his is very nice.
But the
his has worked
AMGs
on.
usually depreciate pretty.
they do. But
Any Mercedes.
Oh, holy shit! There you go.
Oh,
I had it
wow.
up yesterday. Check it out.
yeah.
Wow.
Like, dude, it looks really good in that color. I mean,
Really nice. You can get like they have what they call like the midnight package where they black out certain
Yeah.
things on it.
yeah.
I test drove a C43.
That's right. I remember you saying that was an option.
I was going to
yeah.
buy last year at this time. I was going to buy a brand new C43, which is the bi-turbo 6. It was super fun, and it probably will give the C. It won't win against the 63, but it'll give a good run for it because it's it's lighter and the way that it's geared and it blips. But then I decided, I was like, $60,000. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna drive it off and it's gonna depreciate. So then I was like,
Instantly, yeah.
I'm gonna wait a year and then I'm gonna get the 63. I was set on the 63. It's still a one. They still consider it a 1-to-1, where it's the
Right.
The German guys
Yeah.
building that one motor and he's
Yeah.
stamping it all. So I was like, that's the car. And that would, if I didn't buy the RS4, that would have been my choice.
So yeah, and that's the thing. And so like what you guys were talking about, it depreciating. So this is a. Let me just see if I can find the mileage on here because I looked at it yesterday, but it's not high. I think it was in like the 50s or the 60s. Okay, 62,000 miles. This is a 2010, $24,000.
What were they new? 60, 70?
I don't know if they were
Depends
that much.
Yeah,
Depends on the options. I would
yeah,
imagine.
depending on the options, you're starting at like 57 new with options.
Jeez. Ouch.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So you can $24,000 right now. I can go get that car, and it's clean. It's really clean.
And you'll have a Mercedes.
I mean,
That's the other reason I didn't get it.
I think that's the only. But if I was gonna, there aren't many Benzes that I like out there. There really aren't.
I will agree with that.
There aren't many. These I do. I do like these. I like that they're compact. I like that I kind of like that they're 4-door. They look sleek. They have a little bit of like aggressiveness and flair to their styling, but they're not like too ricey. Because I feel like you can make an AMG look very, very ricey in certain cases.
And it's really weird because it doesn't get much more German than Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly.
But their styling has always been like, well, sorry, not always, but more recently, has been just like, what are you doing?
I don't. The interior. Honestly, interior comes before exterior. For
Agreed.
Me. I'm an interior guy, and there's nothing better than an interior in a Mercedes Benz, hands down.
Even the new ones?
Yeah.
Because I know the old ones, I'd agree with you 100% of the time.
The new ones are even better.
Now, but I'm assuming you're probably going to leave out that, like, mid-2000s era.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying, like, right now, like,
Yeah.
if you go out there, you compare anything that's out there right now, and I would say Mercedes leads that. Not only with just, sound deadening, but the quality of attention to detail.
There's definitely no lack of quality as far as that's for sure.
The other, it's good to see they're making a little bit
styling
of
can be subjective, but as far as the quality of their stuff, it has to. It's definitely up there.
I mean, it's no Volvo, but
nothing's ever a Volvo, man. Let's just.
Maybe this is for another conversation, but Mercedes, and I heard Porsche is doing this. They're going to switch. So if you notice this, right? So we had touchscreens,
right?
Then we went to mouse control
in the middle,
knobs. Now they want to switch everything to voice for real and heads-up displays.
Yep.
So
I know Audi's got it in the cluster. VW's got it in the cluster as well.
Well, I'm talking on this. They want to do the window.
That's pretty crazy.
Mazda's had the heads-up, simple stuff like speed. Average consumption and stuff like that.
C6 Corvettes have that as well. Ask me how I know.
But that's where they're going from an advanced technology. Like that's what's the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one more thing to break.
Right.
But the biggest difference I think I noticed, like what we were talking about, like as far as even going back to quality. So like you'll have something like a C6 that has interior, like the 5 is just horrid. The 5 looks like a neon or whatever. The 6. It's tolerable. They had the nav. I mean, it's bullshit nav, whatever. It's, by today's standards anyway. And they're known for their interiors kind of starting to squeak and break apart or whatever.
Yeah. It's an American car. I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I drove the 6 and I liked the way the 6 drove a lot. Just as far as like the ride quality, the way it sounded, everything felt fine. I felt comfortable in it. And then I got to drive unexpectedly a C7, and that is by far one of the most awesome cars I've driven. Now, this is one of those things where the interior of that car legitimately looks and feels like a European car.
I've never been in one.
The exterior is
heard
subjective because it feels like I got in it. I sat down with my friend. I'm like,
you gained a little bit of interior room in the C7, right?
I did, and I started driving it around, and we kind of we're just going around that park that we were hanging out by in Queens because that's where we met up. And so I'm like driving around and everything. I'm like, wow, this feels really nice. I'm shifting and everything, and he goes. And I'm looking, and I didn't really know much about the C7s, and I think I was in 4th. And I look at the steering wheel, I'm like, why are there flappy paddles on this? And he's like, oh, press the downshift one. So I press it. He goes, now go ahead and try to rev match. All I did was push the clutch in, put the car into 3rd, and the car automatically.
So it auto blips.
Auto blips.
Which Porsche has that too. Yeah. So wait, it is a manual?
It is a manual with
and the paddles are only for.
It engages or disengages essentially.
For rev
match.
That's interesting.
It's really cool.
That's weird.
Very cool.
Huh.
And it was perfect. I mean, I just put the clutch in, and as soon as I moved into 3rd, it blipped, and I just let go of the clutch, and it was no shut, nothing. Just wow.
That's weird,
dude. It sounds awesome. He had it in red with the red interior. It looked really good.
When the C7 came out, I was like, I've been talking so much shit on Corvette all these years, and now this came out, and I kind of like it.
It's a little bit of a news because it's like you go away from that traditional 4-round taillights to this like neo kind of platform.
But it has a little bit of European style.
And that's the thing. It's like they kind of shied away a little bit from their own exterior styling and everything, but then they gained so much on that interior. So much. It's
almost like you can have a penis and drive that car.
I know, and that's why I want it.
And then you look at the exhaust, and it's like. Like, what is the? They got to do something with an exhaust. It's horrible.
But it's always been that way too. They just
jam them all together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually,
I'm not a fan of that.
Cheapest one I found was I did find one for I think it was 39 or 40K. A Stingray, 2015.
For a Stingray?
Well, I mean, Stingray's base now.
Oh,
essentially, it's essentially base. So yeah, you have Stingray, then you have your Grand Sport, and I don't know if they're doing like a Z whatever package thing, but they do have it's basically Stingray, then it's Grand Sport, and then it's your Z06. The Z06 is you're looking at 80,
that's
90
marketing.
grand.
Well, and I think,
of course.
You know what? I think a lot of people are doing that now, where the entry level is the level's been, the bar has been raised for your entry level.
Well,
I was just thinking about this too, because look at like, with the new RS3 that now has come out, okay, but look at where the bar has been set for just the S3, and it was to the point where like. Volkswagen never used to give a shit about. Well, they cared about performance, but their performance was the R32.
Yeah.
That was what you bought for the top line Volkswagen performance. But it was slow. It still is. And then the Golf R, and now they actually care. And the Golf, like the new Golf R, is pretty banging for what you're getting. So the bar keeps going up and up and up.
Oh, sure.
They're remaining competitive, and that's the thing. It's just it's the way it's trending. It's like they're able to get so much power out of these little engines that really aren't over. They are still fairly economical.
Well, and look at the 911 now with a 4-cylinder turbo. You know, and
is it gonna have a noisemaker?
When you hear the the reviews of the guys going, I like this as much as a flat 6. Like, I mean, it is still a flat 4, right? It's a flat 4 turbo, but it's just as good as an NA6.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I guess you can. You know.
I was still. I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on a 4.
No,
no, it's understandable.
Yeah. And especially on that, that's where the purist comes out. Like, if I'm having a 911, it's going to have.
It's not a real 911.
I'm not that guy.
That brings it closer to a Beetle because it's.
Yeah.
I would love it if one day, like, Porsche just released, like, it just looks exactly like a Beetle, and everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, it's a Porsche, it's fine." Like,
it's well, no. This is a different design. It's they're going back to roots.
They're going back to roots.
We really like this.
And Clarkson would have a field day.
I was
he would
saying
have
they're
a field
going to
day.
get Clarkson to be the spokesman of that campaign.
I think we.
But as much but the thing is, it's funny because as much shit as Clarkson talks about the whole styling thing, he does have moments where he expresses that he does like 911s.
He quietly does. Yeah.
I think I definitely.
He just doesn't want.
He doesn't want people to know.
Hammond or.
Yeah, here it is. The new Porsche 911 GT2 RS. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. We went a little long. I don't know who the hell's trying to cut their grass right now, but keep it down. I do a podcast in here. So, yeah. So thanks for being on, man. It was awesome. This will obviously we're recording on Saturday morning. A little bit chilly. It was 48 degrees when I woke up this morning. Just a tip-it nipply. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on. We'll be back next week. We're back on once a week again. This will be back in the flow. I think we have to rearrange our schedules and get used to it again. But it's going to be good, more up-to-date content, be more relevant, unlike any car that I have. And and we're going to go look at a Golf now and find out why your strut's bent.
Yay. Super excited.
Well,
we know why it's bent. We just want to make sure that it is bent.
There you go. And on that bombshell.
We can't use that. I don't want to get sued over that.
Flip it.
Hey, in all seriousness, you remember reading Rainbow? Was it LeVar Burton?
LeVar Burton, yeah.
So he went on to a podcast to do an interview, and he used the phrase, what was it? But you don't have to take my word for it. I think that's what he said at the end of every. He said that, and PBS went after him because that was part of his contract. That's a trademarked phrase, and he's not allowed to say it even on a podcast.
It's hilarious.
All right, we'll have to do some research. See what.
And on that bombshell. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, and until next week, we'll see you on the road. Gear Shift Podcast is an independent production brought to you by The Bearded Detailer. If you have any questions, please contact us at gearshiftpodcast@gmail.com or thebeardeddetailer.com/gearshift.